Do you remember your first sad goodbye? A time when you bade farewell to a summer camp acquaintance, unsure you may ever meet again. The passing of a beloved grandparent, perhaps the graduation of a classmate who was a mentor, therapist, and friend. A time when you wished you could save the rest of eternity to spend with that companion. I can remember mine. You can likely recall yours. But do you remember every single one of your sad goodbyes across the years? Every detail that went into those final partings? I can. I've had two. Let me begin with my first sad goodbye. Maybe I can tell you about the second some other time. When I got back from Heidelberg, everyone asked me how it went, and I had one answer for all. It wasn't what I expected, but I enjoyed it nonetheless. Well, what did I expect? I thought that I would go to the lab each day, learn, return to the hotel, and remain cloistered in my room until the next. Instead, I found myself perpetually awaiting the soon sanctified time from the end of dinner until midnight. 5 to 8 of us would jam into one room and hang out all night long. We played card games, watched movies, and consumed inordinate amounts of candy. But most of all, we just talked, without any fear of these strangers returning to judge us after the month was over. We shared our most visceral fears and personal secrets. I sat with others every night and just talked about the world, what made our friends tick, the beauty of fall days, and what people were like back home. Eventually, I realized something. The end of the trip to Heidelberg might be my first sad goodbye. Not everyone there was perfect. Overall, we were a pretty average group. But I would miss the honesty and the questions. I would miss the Saturday shopping trips and Sunday hikes. I would miss Hannah and Kel. Why was that my first sad goodbye? I've certainly spent countless hours with other friends at school, Boy Scouts, and sports. But the truth is, I've devoted most of my time growing up to just trying to fit in. Think about how I entered Western Reserve Academy. 5'2", kind of smart, and completely lost. I couldn't make friends. I needed to figure out how to survive. So I sat back and watched. I learned that people study in the library, not next to the locker in K-Pack. I recognized the tumultuous table groups of the dining hall. I noticed that maybe I could walk with a bit more spring in my step. Over time, I created a shell to live in without feeling persecuted. I was Zach Bloom, a smart kid who didn't need to study, played League in the library, and almost never talked to people. Yet, without me even realizing it, I simultaneously trapped myself within that shell. I couldn't burn someone at lunch. That wouldn't be Zach Bloom. I couldn't admit that math was hard sometimes. That wouldn't be Zach Bloom. I couldn't make good friends. That wouldn't be Zach Bloom. So along came Heidelberg. Nobody knew who I was. Nobody expected me to act a certain way. So I talked to people. I made a couple friends. I talked and joked and shopped. I had fun. I was me. So I came back to school with a new vision of 2 me's and decided to fix the broken one. When I go to lunch now, I wait for my classmates. When somebody suggests days, I head downtown with them. When someone asks me to run in the mud in the middle of winter, I run in the mud. I try to enjoy my time with other people. I try to care. When I'm invited to Sadie's, I go. So begins the story of the best day ever. I joined a Sadie's group without a date and had a great time chauffeuring and eating with couples who were kind enough to have me. Then came the dance. The music was lackluster for a while, but then came the good stuff. Footloose, Dancing Queen, Hooked on a Feeling. For a while, I danced for once, like nobody was watching. I'm not even good. I joined Danny, Joe, Elliot, Avery, Nick, Delaney, Josh, Sash, and we tore up the dance floor. I didn't care what anyone else in the world could have said. I was shimmying to Kenny Loggins, I was swaying with the crowd to ABBA, I was belting out blue suede with the guys just like we did in cross country. When the dance was over, I went over to Nick's, watched a movie, and promptly fell asleep. In the morning, I enjoyed a delicious breakfast thanks to his parents, and got in my car to leave. As I drove home, I turned on 97.5 WOME after some classic rock. Relax after some of the best 24 hours in my memory. I was without a care in the world, just jamming to some Guns N' Roses and Van Halen. Then, as I was almost home, this one song came on. It was called "Going to California" by Led Zeppelin. I'd never heard the song in my life. But in that moment, as the guitar ripped in the background, I started crying my eyes out. That was the first time I had genuinely cried in around 4 years. And I wasn't sad. I was happy as could be. I just thought back on the day and finally realized I had some friends. Not just the ones I saw that night, but everyone at school who's been real to me. There are people in my life who I truly cared about. There are people in my life who cared about me. I went to bed that night, thought a lot, cried some more, and planned this speech. So, I'm at the end. I didn't have any advice to give. It's already been said. I don't have a "this I believe" statement, though I have plenty of trash ones if you'd like to hear them. All I have to say is thanks. Thanks to everyone who has walked with me across campus, talked with me in class, joked with me at lunch. Thank you to all of you who have treated me like a person. Thank you for giving me some more sad goodbyes.